One of the bad things about living in Norway is the rapid reduction in the synthesis window available to us to synthesize vitamin D. It's down to 4 hours. It's down to 11:15 to 3:15 around the Oslo Drammen area. And so if we're down to 4 hours already and the temperature's dropping, and so we're not exposing our skin to sunlight, therefore we're not synthesizing vitamin D. So now it comes down to, did you expose enough of your skin and synthesize enough vitamin D during the summer, during when it was warmer, in order to last throughout the winter? Maybe, maybe not. If you go and have a blood test, you'll be able to see. And so as the synthesis window decreases, as I say, it's about 4 hours now between 11:15 and 3:15, and it's just going down and down and down. But we don't expose our skin anymore because it's getting colder. So as our synthesis ability drops, and remember, that's the best kind of vitamin D that we can get, is the one that we are able to synthesize through UVB radiation. As that drops, then we need to supplement, or we need to get more in through our food source in order to optimize our health and optimize our immune system. And therefore, we have to look at food sources, we have to look at supplementation. Now, if you look at some foods, they say fortified with or added vitamin D. And just have a little look as to what vitamin D that is, whether it's vitamin D2 or vitamin D3. D3 would be the better of the two if you had the choice. It's an animal, it comes from animal, therefore it's more bioavailable and it's more targeted. Vitamin D2 is a plant source and isn't as good, but it's better than nothing still. So I say again, vitamin D3 would be preferable, but vitamin D2 is still better than nothing. And we can still get some from oily fish, etc. Even some butters have vitamin D. And so we can get more through our diet and supplementation. Now we are not going to synthesize as much through our skin. But one of the bits that we kind of take for granted is, as we put more clothes on, as the temperature drops, it's not just the UVB radiation that we start to get a lack of, but it's infrared radiation. It's red and infrared rays of light that we start to have a lack of. Now, think back to last winter. How much energy did you have compared to the summer? Just think about it. I bet you felt more lethargic, you had less energy last winter than you did in the summer. Now, why is that? Part of that is down to the circadian rhythms and being outside under red and infrared rays. Because what red and infrared rays are able to give to you is a specific wavelength of light that your body responds to and actually increases the efficiency of your mitochondria. Now, if your mitochondria are more efficient, they are able to give you more energy. They're able to produce more energy for you. And that's the great thing about red and infrared rays, is that they are able to improve the efficiency of your mitochondria and thus give you more energy. I say again, think about last winter. How much energy did you get? Did you ever feel like your engine was topped up? Or were you working at kind of 70%? Now, how much of that is because you walked around all the time with clothes on, and your body had no access to infrared rays, therefore no access to rays that would actually improve the mitochondrial efficiency and improve your ability to produce energy. But the great thing is that now you can get those rays of light inside during the winter. And as we head deeper into winter and the days become shorter, the light activation is going to be less and it's going to be later. We need all the kind of additional help that we can get, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere. Especially if you're in the north of the northern hemisphere, you need all the help that you can get. And getting red and infrared lamps or panels, etc., can supply your body in the comfort of your own home of the rays that it needs in order to supercharge your ability to produce energy. No longer are you going to go into winter and think, oh, I've got no energy, because you're going to give it the rays which allows it to produce more energy. And if you combine that with still getting outside, still anchoring those circadian rhythms, finding a light source, so on sunny days, even in midwinter, get outside midwinter, and then starting to respect your light patterns at night. So even though the vitamin D synthesis window is getting shorter, it doesn't mean we stop going outside in the morning. We still go outside in the morning to anchor those circadian rhythms and supercharge kind of the signals being sent out from the SCN in the brain to say, right, okay, this is what time it is. It's daytime. It's time to get things going. Let's make sure our gene expressions happen at the right time of day in order for us to be productive at the right time of day. And then when it comes to sleep later on, our melatonin peak is the highest as possible, and therefore we are going to sleep like a baby and wake up tomorrow feeling refreshed. So even though we are missing out on infrared, red, infrared and UVB as it comes into winter, and that window is getting smaller and those rays of light are not getting into our skin like they should do, doesn't mean we shouldn't go out in the morning and respect light and darkness in the evening. And we can't do much about UVB. We can get things like Sperti lamps, and there is still going to be a small window where it's very weak, the UVB radiation, for a while yet. So we can still do that if you are lucky enough to have a sheltered place where you can sunbathe a little bit. For example, I'm lucky enough because the wind often goes the other way, so I can open the big windows and lie here naked in my living room and still get some UVB radiation and synthesize some vitamin D, but also keep my skin active and protected. But what I also have is a big red and infrared light panel, so I am consistently charging myself up basically. So there is no need to go through winter feeling a little bit like your battery is half full. We know that if we do certain things to do with light and we anchor those circadian rhythms and then we supplement with red and infrared light, we can get through this long hard winter much easier. Much easier. No longer do you have to go through that winter feeling half full. You can charge up your battery with red and infrared light. That's the great thing. So if you live in Norway and you are concerned about winter coming, because now they've also seen that red and infrared light has a positive effect on seasonal affective disorder, again through lack of daylight. But how much of that is to do with mitochondrial dysfunction happening in winter? We don't actually know. But they are seeing positive results with those that use red and infrared light through winter, decreasing the severity of seasonal affective disorder and the outbreak of seasonal affective disorder. So it's not just the physical aspect that it helps, it's also the psychological aspect that it helps too. So if you are interested and you want to learn more, just drop me a message. It's potentially like a life changer. Potentially it will change how you view winter time coming up. Have a great day, get enough light.